Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. So I have such a great video planned for you guys today. I am doing 6 looks featuring the new Melt Cosmetics times BeetleJuice collection. I am doing 2 looks with this palette, 2 looks with this palette, and 2 looks with them both together. So before we get started, my name is Ashley. And if you are new here, welcome. And if you're an oldie but goodie, welcome on back. I have a doctorate in pharmacy, and that's how you get Dr. Ash in her makeup, because I love makeup and eyeshadow is truly my jam. But please just call me Ash or Ashley. So before we get started, so let's take care of a few housekeeping things. So if you notice, I have changed my hair. Yes, I have joined the Sister Lock family, and I did just do a get ready with me video featuring my journey into Sister Locks, and I'll just go ahead and link it right there for you. I have also been approved with Reward South with their affiliate program, so I will now be able to link products to Sephora or Ulta and different websites. So any products that I talk about in today's video or in future videos, if you are thinking about buying them, I please encourage you to use my links, because that will really help support my channel, which is growing and flourishing with your viewership. And it does cost you nothing to shop with these links, but it definitely does help bring more content into this channel. Also, please subscribe, because that is also another free way without spending any money that you can help support this channel, as well as giving this video a thumbs up and leaving comments. So now that we have taken care of the housekeeping things, I have on like a BeetleJuice-ish, you know, type of, well, actually it's a dress, okay? And if I can remember, I'll try to like stick the dress, you know, right here. I came from a boutique called Cosmios, and they are located in Houston, and I really love their items. I've been shopping with them for years. Affordable, great price points. They're also on Afterpay now. But I haven't seen BeetleJuice in such a long time, but let me tell you, like, his outfit, I can definitely get down with it. I love a good black and white stripe. I love a black and white print. I've had a blazer like BeetleJuice's. Have I had any pants like his? No, I don't think I've had the black and white striped pants, but I've definitely had a blazer. It's too small. It came from Express though, but it was really cute when I did have it. But let's go ahead and jump into these palettes, because like I said, I have 6 looks for you today, and you know, just grab you a snack. So first up, we have the Recently Deceased palette, and I am going to show some images of this palette plus swatches. Once you open it up, you have this lovely great big mirror here, and these are the shades. And inside the palette, you know, Melt just kills it with the packaging. They have this little card that is kind of like your protector or your plastic film that you would normally have in your palettes, but it is a scene from the movie when they are standing on top of, I guess they're in the graveyard, yeah. So it is so dope how this is curated. And then we also have the Waiting Room palette, and this is the waiting, this palette is more Lydia focused, and this is the little card insert right here, and then you have these beautiful burgundy and gray shades. Now, as you may notice, this palette is 10 shades versus the Recently Deceased palette where we have 8 shades. So this particular palette retails for $48, which is pretty much on par with Melt Cosmetics pricing. And then the Waiting Room palette, because it's 10 shades, actually retails for $58. This collection actually launched the day before Thanksgiving. It was supposed to launch the day after. So it launched on Melt Cosmetics website first, but prior to that, last week, they did have a PR box that was around $400 something. They had a discount code that made it $350, where you got the whole collection. But I was just really interested in the palettes mostly. I was interested in one of the lipsticks, but they did not carry it at Sephora. I decided I wanted to purchase my palettes from Sephora, and I was able to run in there right after work and pick these babies up so I could get them right in hand. And they released at Sephora, like I said, on the 27th, online and in store. So I do want to point out the unicartons of the palette. So this is the Recently Deceased, which is the purple green one, and then the Waiting Room. And once again, Melt attention to detail. Both of the palettes, they are pressed pigment palettes, so you do have to worry about some staining, especially with the purple shadows that are in the Recently Deceased palette. I did not experience as much staining with the Waiting Room palette that had the burgundy shadows in it. The waiting room palette, this palette is actually 17.46 grams of product, or 0.616 ounces per item, and it has a 12-month shelf life. And this palette actually does, I believe, actually includes carmine, so that's something you were worried about. So this palette is not vegan. Now the recently deceased palette, which is this baby right here, is 13.57 grams or 0.479 ounces, which does have the 8 shades, and it has a shelf life of 12 months once you open it. But if you keep your palettes in a cool, dry area, you do know that is not an issue. So let's go ahead and get into the 6 looks, and we'll talk about some final thoughts at the other side. Let's go ahead and get started. Eyebrows filled in using my usual, the Goof Proof Pencil, shade 3.75 by Benefit Cosmetics. Primer for all of my looks, I'm going in with the Urban Decay Primer Potion in shade Caffeine, and then I did tap a little bit of the Anastasia primer on. I cannot use this primer by itself. It is disastrous for me. So I am just so excited to play with this palette. Like, I don't even know what to do. I'm just too outdone. Going in with my Sephora Pro number 10 brush, I am going to pick up the shade Draw Door because that looks just so interesting to me. Going ahead and just going to pop that in the crease. Man, that is pretty. Okay, that is really pretty. So I'm just buffing that back and forth into the crease. And it has great pigmentation and it blends out very easily. I'm very happy about that. Okay, so we got Draw Door on, and it didn't take much to blend that out at all. So that's a really great sign. Crease Pro by Sonia G is going to pop in with BeetleJuice. I think it's Beetle. It's Beetle something. BeetleJuice. I think it's just the other way of spelling it. Yeah. So I'm just going to pop that in right here just to create a gradient. Okay, that's layering well. So you know what? They right here, you know, if 420 was not it for you, which it really wasn't it, they are like redeeming themselves with this. Sonia G going in with Paranormal. This is my Builder Pro. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start packing this on that outer V. Now we're just going to make sure it's close to the lash line right there. Ooh, so far this is stunning. A very pretty forest green shade. And I'm just going to work that up into the crease. Same brush, wiped it off, going in with Little Accident. Oh man, and this is really pretty as well. And it has great pigmentation. So far, the shimmer, every shade I've used so far has been really good. It's been top quality. The shimmers are playing nice. Ooh, the gradient between those two, it's really beautiful. Same brush, going in with Neurotic. Just popping that in the inner corner. All right, I'm gonna blend it all together and finish up this eye because apparently I forgot I was doing this eye at the same time. All right, so this is look number 1. It is so pretty. Got slight Barney vibes going on over here, but I'm here for it. And I just went ahead and added Paranormal down on the lower lash line, and then I followed up with my ColourPop pencil. This is the shade called Fast Lane. It's just a dark hunter green to match Kids Ritzy lashes. And the rest of my details will be down below. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, Sephora Pro number 10, going in with BeetleJuice. Popping the lime green shade up in the crease / transition. And that also has nice pigmentation. Just gonna go back and forth. Windshield wiper motions and just build it up to the intensity that I want it to be built up to. Going in with a flat shader brush from Sephora Magnetic Collection. I'm going to go in with Bioexorcist. I'm just going to pop that in the center. Oh, not in the center. What is this? The inner corner? I'm like, I don't even know what this is. Oh, that color is very pretty. Just popping that in the inner corner. Going back in, same Sephora Pro number 10, I am going to go in with Lost Souls. Pick this purple up and start placing it. Oh man. Okay, this palette is like, y'all. Like, look, no problem. I'm gonna take a smaller blending brush. Just no issues. That purple is wonderful. Look at it. Very little fallout. Okay, so I took a little bit higher on this one by accident, so I'll just do the same up here. So it's even. And then I always have that space right here because of my eye shape. Sonia G Crease Pro, I'm gonna go ahead and start blending out those harsh lines. Sonia G, this is the Builder Pro, going in with Recently Deceased. And I'm just gonna fill this in. And this shimmer is really nice also. Like, I have not had a issue with any shade in this palette. And just kind of filling in and meeting in the crease. And I'll fix that blend in a second because it's a lot going on right there. Going in with my MAC 224 blending brush, we're gonna get this little part together because that's just me. And go blend for our lives over here. Same blending brush, going in with BeetleJuice. And going to put a little bit to help blend that purple out. There we go. Okay, and I still don't feel like this is the same amount, so I'm gonna go back in with that Recently Deceased shade and like just fix the dimensions on whatever I got going on here. This is not the same as the other eye. Okay, now with my finger, I'm gonna go in with Neurotic. And I didn't want to take too much on a brush because I just want to pat some right here on the eye. And I want it to be kind of, don't want it to be so opaque so it kind of covers up what's going on here. But just to bring a little lightness to the eye. Okay, this shape is killing me on this eye. So go back in the same brush and pick up the Bio Exorcist shade. See if we can do something here. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. All right, I'm back. Here is look number 2 using the Recently Deceased palette. And I might be speaking a little bit too soon, but there is not a bad shade in this palette. Like, this is the quality of She's and Parties. So if you like that palette, this, I would not sleep on this. This is beautiful, and every shade performs so well. And I like this look also. It's a little bit more subdued, but then you have a little pop of light. And over the purple, that chartreuse green, which is the shade Neurotic right here, kind of looks like a gold. So I really like how this look came out. So face details are the same. Let's go ahead and get started on the waiting room. Sephora Pro number 10 with Sunken Head. You guys know I love, ooh, a gray matte. Okay, yes, love a gray matte. You know, gray mattes are like that friend you don't see a lot, but as soon as you see her, you know, you just catch back up like you never even missed a beat. I'm just blending that back and forth. Now I'm just gonna go in one more time and just to fix the areas where no shadow landed because of the shape of my eye. I'm just gonna go in with a fluffier brush right here and just blend this little edge out. This brush is a little bit softer. It's a little bit better job of kind of blending some of those edges out. Sonia G Worker Pro, going in with No Exit. I'm just gonna pop that on the outside. Ooh, that shade is gorgeous. Very pretty. And see how these two mattes layer up together. Oh, so far so good. And then I'm just gonna start feathering it in. And I'm gonna go in with the Classic Crease by Sonia G and just kind of fix the blend. These two mattes layer so well together. So very pretty. I'm just gonna bring that in for a little definition. You know what? I changed my mind. I think I'm going to make this a halo situation. So I'm gonna go back in, No Exit, and pop it in this inner corner, but I'm gonna leave a little space open for inner corner highlight since this shade is so dark. Going back in that classic crease, I'm just gonna spruce up the blending. And I know it's not exactly straight, but sometimes a little angled halo situation looks better. Sonia G, this is the Builder Pro, taking Lydia. For Lydia, I'm just going to pop her in the little open space we have. Jumping back in with a little bit more no exit. Just diffuse the shades together. Flat shader brush from Sephora. Going to go in with the white shade in the palette, which is Sandworm. I'm just going to pop that in the inner corner. And that shows up really bright. And then I'll just go back in with that same brush. No additional product that we're using to put no exit. All right, so I'm back. I got my flat definer brush by Sonia G. I'm going to go in with the shade Charmin. I'm going to demo that on camera since we have not used this shade unlike the other times. So I'm just going to pick up a little and I'm just going to run this. Oh man, and the quality on this mirror is wonderful and I love how it's like the whole palette. So I'm just running that. Oh man, that just, yeah. And then I would just take that same flat definer brush and I'm going to go in with a little bit of Juno, which is like a topper shade, and we're gonna pop some of that right in here. So we just have a little sparkle. All right, I'm back, and here is the final look. This is the first look using the Waiting Room palette, and this is a beautiful red smoky eye. I am digging it, and this white, it's good. Like, I like having this white in here because it can help lighten up some of these really deep dark shades and it kind of transforms some of the shades. So I like that, and all the shadows so far have performed well. So let's go ahead and get into the next. Sephora number 10, going in with the shade Obituary. And I'm going to start blending this in the crease. And I'm going to kind of do a more of a rounded shape, or at least try to. And I'm just blending this in the crease. With my MAC 224 brush, I'm going to go in with the shade Sandworm. And I'm going to take this white and I'm going to run it across the edge, just so there's more of a gradient. And kind of lighten up that color. And this color does blend out well, so it can like be opaque, and then it can be used, you know, to soften some of these very deep shades. Same Sephora number 10, going still back in with that same shade Obituary. Just going to pop a little in the outer corner and not really on my face like I just did. The brush is like kind of flipped out my hand because I'm holding it very lightly. Sonia G Builder Pro, going in with the shade Saved Girl. I'm going to take this shade and just fill it all in across the lid. This shade is actually really pretty. All the shimmers have applied so well. Like, they don't do that thing. Like, I hate to say it, but the shimmer shades from Melt, we all know they can use a little help sometimes. But the shimmers that I've encountered in these two palettes have been fabulous. I'm back in, same Sephora Pro number 10, just taking a little bit more Obituary, just so we have a little bit more depth. Pop a little right here. Sonia G Flat Definer, gonna pop in with Dante's Inferno. And I'm gonna run this underneath the lash line. It's a beautiful, ooh, it's a really nice copper shade. Ooh. That has a little duochrome action to it. And then I'm just going to pop in with the shade Tombstone, which is the other gray shade that we have not used. And I'm just going to kind of smoke it out and just kind of layer some on top. And I'll be right back with my last. All right, so this is the last look using the Waiting Room palette. This is a gorgeous smoky eye, and Dante's Inferno down here Oh, it is a beautiful copper shade, and I'm seeing some shifting to that shade. So I think this is really, really pretty. And just like I had showed before, like the white in the corner, it really helped to kind of just buff out those harsh lines with the shade that we started with in the crease, which is Obituary. So that just really just helped bring that blend together. So far, so good. So let's go ahead and jump into, let's see, 2 more looks. Jesus be offense for my eyeballs, okay? So we're gonna jump into some looks using both of the palettes. All right, I know I've been keeping it consistent with the brushes I've been using, but that Sephora 10 was really starting to scratch my eyes up, and I've been doing so many looks. Going in Rephr P07 brush. I'm not sure if this has been renamed or not. Going in with Sunken Head, and we're gonna start the looks where we're combining both of the palettes. So I'm just going to pick up some of Sunken Head and start blending this in the crease. Oh my gosh, this feels so much better. It just, it's really amazing. Like, you know, I really like that Sephora brush and I like the shape of it, but it's just, that brush is a synthetic brush. But with these natural brushes, it's just something to be said sometimes with like how soft they are, and it just makes a world of difference. So I'm just blending that back and forth with the gray matte, my friend who I'm reunited with. We never skip a beat when we get back together. That's the gray mattes for me, okay? Now that I have that shade down, going in, this is the Sonia G Worker Pro. I'm going to pick up Lost Souls, this beautiful purple shade, and start popping that right here. Oh, these two look so good together. This purple, it's like literally one of the best purple. It's a very good purple matte. I won't say one of the best, but it's up there. I mean, I know this is just a first impression, even though it's 6 looks, but you know, usually purple is very patchy or hard, stiff, and it's just not. And it's layering over the other mattes, even from the other pack, very well. So it just can't even complain. Sonia G Builder Pro, going in with Recently Deceased. Just going to pop that right here. And this purple shimmer, like it's very smooth also. I'm not having any issue with any of the shade. I wipe that brush off and I'm gonna go in with this beautiful magenta shade called Save Girl. And just popping it in the blank space. And this shade is also very smooth. I find it hard to make shades like this. Even the one in the Rose Decadence, the Fuchsia Shock, it's pretty stiff. So, but this, it's pinky fuchsia, it's really, really pretty. Going in with the MAC 224, I'm just going to buff around this area to make sure that it is smooth. Light definer, going to pop in with Juno from the Waiting Room palette. Popping that in the inner corner. All right, I'll be right back. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the last look. Going in Rephr P07, going to jump in with the Recently Deceased palette, and going to take this beautiful mustard shade called Draw a Door. And I'm gonna blend this in the crease. This shade is just really stunning. It's like a nice mustardy green. Going in Rephr number 2, going in with Paranormal. And I'm just going to start packing this on the outer lid. And I do have just a little bit of fallout, probably also because of the type of brush I'm using. Jumping in with the Sonia G Crease Pro, just going to buff that edge out. And this shade does buff out pretty nicely for it to be a shimmer. And I'm just gonna kind of bring it in just a little bit and fix it on the outer edge. Because of the shape of my eye, I'm just gonna go ahead and just make it a tiny bit higher right there. Just bring it up so when I look straight on, you can see the shade. I'm gonna jump back in with that same brush, go back in with Draw a Door, and just kind of buff what we lost from the blending. Going in Sonia G Builder Pro, I'm gonna go in with Dante's Inferno. Now taking that brush, I'm just gonna, yes, see this color. This is a beautiful coppery shade. Taking that same Builder Pro, I'm just going to jump back in with a little bit more Paranormal. Actually, I'm going to take that Rephr number 2. It's a little stiffer. Yeah, and it just picks up that shade just a little bit better. And I'm just going to go ahead, make sure this is all blended and good. And then going back in with that very first brush, of course. Yeah, I knew these two shades would just look really good together. So it looks a little crazy now, but I'll clean up. I'll be right back. Okay, I am finished, and this is the last look using the combination between the Waiting Room and the Recently Deceased palette. And I love this look. So I did watch Kinky Sweat's video, Alicia, and she did kind of mention that Dante's Inferno kind of looked like a corruption, or gave you corruption vibes from Pat McGrath, and I must say I agree. I knew there was something special about this coppery duochrome. It's almost duochrome, but not quite duochrome. But I knew it was something special about this copper when I saw the swatches of this particular palette. So let's go ahead and talk about the palettes, because my eyes are about to quit on me. And now I remember why when I do 6 looks 1 palette, I don't do 1 look on both of the eyes, because my eyes are about to quit on me. They are through with me. So if you see watering right here, I cannot even help it at this point. So I must say, like, let's just go ahead. Let's start with packaging. Packaging wise, I mean, like, Melt kills it. Every time packaging is bomb. The attention to detail. They are heavy, sturdy, hard plastic palettes. When you open them, you have a full mirror. The back of the palette has the same theme of it, as you can see. Then how the palettes are both iridescent, and you can see the colors kind of shining through. So this one, of course, has the lime green, and this one the deep burgundy red. And the theme is just carried out to perfection. You open it up, like I mentioned before, I mean, the mirror is wonderful. It goes the whole length of the palette. It's very clear. You can definitely use it to do your makeup. The hinges are just perfect on this palette. You can bend it back, go all the way back so you can get the right angle that you want. And then look on the insides. Like, you got the BeetleJuice stripes going through here. Then you have the themes right here. I haven't watched, I know these are the trees, but I haven't watched BeetleJuice in so long, so I couldn't even tell you. But even in this palette, like, just the background of where the shadows are inset, I mean, it is just one of the best movie collabs that I've seen. It is not half done. And it says that, you know, it has the Warner Brothers trademark on the back. I mean, but overall, I mean, the packaging is just literally wonderful on this. The Melt always kills it for me when it comes to packaging. Even like when you see Vita or Morte back there, like, packaging is just everything. And it just makes these palettes so much more special, because when you just go and look at your collection, even though it's a holiday collection, it's not holiday. So when somebody goes and looks at it, they're like, well, what is this from? I'm like, well, they did a BeetleJuice collab and it came out around the holidays. Like that, you know, it's more of a Mexican heritage holiday that is celebrated right there. So I like that, and I feel like it's something that's very uber special that comes out. When we're talking about the performance of the shadows, Melt, please do not change the formula from these two palettes. I know this is like more like a first impression. I still have some playing around with it to do, but I've used every shadow in this palette, in both of these palettes actually, that you can see. The only, maybe in this one, I used Tombstone just a little bit, kind of like underneath the eyelids. But I mean, everything just performs so well. For these to be deep reds and burgundies, I mean, they perform very well. Now, they did have to add a little bit of carmine to these to make them kind of get the glide and just perform better. Everything blended out very well. These shimmers, like full body shimmers, not crumbly, smooth. You can blend them out. You can pack them on. Melt. Thank you for finally getting the shimmers correct, because that's where Melt falls short. And I just hate to say it. It's just like sometimes you get a Melt palette, it's like, is it going to be banging, or is it just going to be like, Or is it just gonna be like $4.20 and be like, no? But I mean, even this one right here, the purple matte, to formulate a matte this color as if Lost Souls, it is so hard. I had no trouble blending this out. I had no trouble packing on the pigmentation. This showed up very bright, and they were not sheer. None of the mattes were sheer. Draw Adore is one of my favorite. I mean, it's mustardy, it's green, and then even the lime green was this BeetleJuice. I mean, it's very beautiful. I feel like I'm going to get murdered for whatever this shade is. BeetleJuice. I'm thinking it's juice. I don't know. The point is, everything performed so well. Neurotic performed well, which is this great chartreuse shimmer right here. I mean, the formulation was on point. I think these are excellent palettes. If you were looking at it and trying to wonder, should you get it? I think you should get it. The reason why I ordered from Sephora was like, well, if it's not good, it'll be easier for me to return versus going to the Melt website. Now, these are palettes like you have to pick, like, if this is a color scheme that you're gonna rock with, y'all know I love purples, I love greens, a lot. I love copper, I love burgundies, I mean, I love red. So it's just like, these are the best of both worlds to me. But I feel like if you were to pick one and you were trying to figure out which one was more wearable, I would say this particular palette, only because I feel like people are still a little bit more comfortable with the greens. People are very comfortable with purples. You have some great quality purples. You can kind of mix and match with your other palettes. And then the same with the green row here. Versus this particular palette, the Waiting Room, you're going to get very dark, smoky looks, and you might not be very comfortable with that. The gray mattes, you know, are great for the transition and provide a different dimension, and especially the white, because you can kind of share some of these out. But like, if I was to say, like, if you were kind of nervous and try to figure out which one's more wearable, I would say this one, or more comfortable for majority of the public who are not into such deep, sultry looks. And with that being said, I feel like both of these are standalone palettes, and I feel like both of these are companion palettes with other palettes in your collection, and I feel like both of these are companion palettes together. So I know this is one of my favorite looks. I really like the first look I did with the Recently Deceased palette, and I also love the second look I did with the Waiting Room palette. You have to let me know what was your favorite look. There were so many. I hope you guys enjoyed the 6-look 2 palettes, and so 2 from each of the palettes and 2 of the palettes combined. Let me know down below, did you pick up this collection? Were you interested in it? And just let me know. Let's chat it up in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel, because you know I would love to have you here in my little makeup family. And with that being said, you already know what time it is. It's time for the chair dance. Hey, 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 chair dance. Chair dance. Chair dance. All right, y'all. Bye.